Oxford Group, the largest Brazilian consulting company in the United States. For over 40 years presenting economy and you. Sponsored by Liv Ferreira Araujo Law. 3 decades of experience in immigration in the United States.
Good evening, dear listeners. Today we have a very special program, a program that will address the central point of the Brazilian and global economy at this moment, which is minerals, and particularly strategic minerals. A forward-thinking visionary from the visionary state of Goiás is currently organizing the largest and most ambitious event, bringing together a diverse group of investors who hold valuable mining rights across Brazil. A premier networking event known as BRAMINVEST. Getúlio Faria is our guest, so we can address these crucial points of such a fascinatingly interesting topic, which is strategic raw materials. Good evening, Getúlio. Thank you for agreeing to participate in our program.
Good evening, Barbieri. It is a great pleasure to be able to participate in such an important and special program as Economia e Você, conducted with such brilliance by someone as credible and respected as you are, not only in Brazil, but also in the United States. It is an honor to be here.
Thank you, Tito. Let's get started. Today's topic is truly fascinating, actually. Where did the idea come from for Goiás to take such an important second step on this topic? First, Goiás joined an international negotiation event that became a global benchmark, and now you dare, pardon the expression, to launch BRAMINVEST. What is BRAMINVEST?
BRAMINVEST stands as a major, highly influential business and investment hub within the global mining and resource extraction sector. In Brazil, the primary and most significant events related to this vital economic activity, which is the mining sector, are heavily focused on large-scale trade shows for the commercialization of specialized equipment, heavy machinery, and professional consulting services. We can specifically mention major exhibitions such as Expos Bran, Brasmin, and Expo Minerio, which takes place in the city of Cuiabá. These prominent gatherings serve as the essential trade shows related to the numerous companies operating within the extensive supply chain of the mineral industry, providing a platform for networking and growth. And we also have technical events such as congresses and symposiums. Recently, we had one of the main events in this area, which is CIMEXMIN, held in the city of Ouro Preto. We have identified a strategic opportunity for us to organize and host a specialized industry event that is specifically focused on attracting significant capital investments in mining. Because Brazil, and not just Brazil, but all of Latin America, is a major hub of opportunities in mining. We are currently at the very heart and center of geopolitical discussions, particularly in regards to the supply of critical minerals, which are essential today. Today, there is a global dependence on China, which has made great advances with new technologies and has developed an entire manufacturing and supply structure for these inputs, especially rare earths and other critical minerals such as lithium, niobium, and other mineral products. So there is a global dependence and a global need to expand the supply chains for these strategic minerals. And not only Brazil, but Latin America as a whole is at the center of this discussion. This also involves issues of great interest to the American government, which is, as the saying goes, trying to make up for lost time, since the United States has fallen behind on the international stage regarding these strategic minerals, such as rare earth elements, for which there is a very high level of dependence. The one who controls and holds almost a monopoly on this market is China, because over the last 25 to 30 years, it has invested heavily in the development of these new technologies, and today the United States is in great need of them. And then at that moment, we realized that in the regions of Brazil and throughout Latin America, we didn't have a dedicated entity or individual specifically focused on the task of connecting international and national investors in Brazil to high quality and promising mining assets. So we meticulously established and structured BRAMINVEST to serve as the largest mining hub, the premier mining business hub in all of Latin America, with a primary strategic focus on facilitating capital investments, mineral asset negotiations, that is, the development of entirely new mining projects, on specialized business rounds for the global commercialization and trade of minerals, and finally, the essential pillar of promoting the comprehensive industrialization chain of critical minerals. So we are currently preparing to hold this significant and highly anticipated major event in Goiânia this coming November. Specifically, it will take place on November 17th and 18th at the spacious Goiânia Convention Center, where mining sector investors coming from every single corner of the globe will be able to discover a wide variety of mineral assets that have been strictly validated and possess the most comprehensive information possible. From this event, we truly aim to attract substantial new investments and implement new projects that can finally move from theory to actual practice. This is crucial because quite often international investors simply don't have a centralized place where they can find, let's say, high quality and commercially viable mining projects to invest in. And on the other hand, the owners of mining assets also don't have a place where they can find investors in a concentrated way. And BRAMINVEST will be exactly this meeting point between global capital and the major mining opportunities in Latin America.
Getülio, we have comprehensive coverage. It couldn't be more complete, but we're a bit lost. Do you have any idea how many companies there are in the mining sector, or particularly in the area of strategic minerals in Brazil, and if possible, data on Latin America?
Barbier, let's talk at the level of Brazil, okay? To give you a much clearer perspective on the situation. Today we have, in terms of our current projects, I would like to specifically highlight and mention the mineral of greatest importance in terms of substantial financial backing and mining assets, which is the precious metal gold. Currently, in the modern day, Brazil has approximately around 10,000 active mining processes, which are valuable mining assets that already hold official mining concessions. Many of these various sites are already in full operation, but a very good portion of them are actively seeking new financial investments. These are significant projects with truly great potential for generating successful, large-scale mining businesses, which would significantly and substantially increase the entire country's overall productive capacity in terms of its total gold production and output. Brazil is one of the countries with the largest reserves, but today we are only the 15th largest producer in the world. And we also have, for example, another mineral that is currently much discussed and in the spotlight, which is rare earth elements. Today in Brazil, we have approximately 1,800 areas under claim, most of which are still in the research application phase, which requires capital to advance these studies, research, drilling, surveys, and so on. But today, Brazil is currently positioned somewhere between the second and third largest significant reserve of rare earth elements found anywhere across the entire globe. So, for example, we have more than 650 potential manganese projects, around 620 graphite projects, which is a raw material used in the production of graphite, which is very important, for instance, in the defense industry and the aerospace industry. Rare earth elements are also used for these purposes. We have approximately 3,000 diamond area projects. It's a huge number, and these figures refer only to Brazil. Meanwhile, if you look at Latin America, we have other countries that are strong producers, such as Chile, for example. Chile is the world's largest copper producer, but there are also many opportunities in that country where they are seeking investors, just as is happening in Brazil. Argentina, for example, is a major lithium producer, one of the largest globally, and also has many projects aimed at attracting investors and expanding production. So BRAMINVEST, this initiative effectively bridges the gap by serving as a business platform that brings together major groups of international investors who are interested in investing in new mining projects in our country.
Wonderful. So how is the event going to be organized? Will you have mining companies as exhibitors, the available projects, and invite potential international investors? What is the organizational structure of your event?
At BRAMINVEST, although technically we say it is not a trade fair, but a business event, we will have areas available for sponsors with a total area of more than 3,200 square meters at the Goiânia Convention Center. We will have dedicated separate areas for our sponsors and, most importantly, for the asset holders, which are the primary projects. We will have more than 100 distinct projects presented there to a diverse group of prominent international investors, which could potentially become more than 100 brand new mining ventures within the country. We will also provide a specialized meeting area for matchmaking between project owners and various investor groups. There will be a large arena and a grand auditorium with a total capacity for more than 600 people, where the keynote lectures will be held, including sessions with distinguished international guests and expert speakers who will be present throughout the event. We will also have a workshop and conference arena where sponsors, but especially the main mining states in the country, such as Goiás, Minas Gerais, Pará, Bahia, along with other prominent states, so mainly through their dedicated and specialized investment attraction agencies, such as those in Mato Grosso, will now be able to comprehensively present their vast potential and clearly outline exactly what these states are seeking in terms of attracting significant new investment opportunities within the diverse mineral sector. And we will also have within the structure an area for business rounds, for the commercialization of minerals. And as part of the program, we will also have happy hour, networking, and cultural activities, which will take place at the end of each of the 2 days of the event.
Getulio, last week I was there as a director of Apex, and it was highlighted that the Brazilian government has a strong interest in attracting capital to the mining sector, but is particularly interested in seeking investors who are willing to explore and develop projects primarily in Brazil. Will there be within this event entities that can collaborate, including in the area of financial presentation and even financing of these international projects, so that Brazil's strategic objective of having this mining carried out as much as possible within national territory can be achieved?
I have no doubt about it, Barbiel. We are doing very strong work, including with Itamaraty on the international front, to support us and help us promote the event, inviting these international groups through the Brazilian embassies spread around the world. The government of Goiás itself and other partners are helping us with this international outreach. Among them, I want to highlight you, since we had the honor of inviting you to chair the International Council of BRAMINVEST. You are making excellent connections that will add a lot of value within the scope of the project. But we also maintain direct and ongoing communication channels with many different international groups. Just to provide you with a more detailed reference, during this current week, we sent out a very specific invitation to a total of 8 distinct groups of investor companies that are highly interested in investing in Brazil. These are major companies from Saudi Arabia, specifically large-scale mining groups. Furthermore, we had productive meetings with 2 additional groups from Australia who are specifically interested in investing in our uranium and rare earth projects. So as you can see today, we are performing exceptionally intensive and dedicated work in actively promoting and attracting these vital international investments. We have already had investor groups from Japan who have registered, showing great potential and strong interest in gold projects, rare earths, phosphates, and many other types of minerals also related to agro minerals. Brazil still has a very strong dependency in the production of inputs for agriculture, such as fertilizers, and there are many potential groups interested in investing in Brazil in this segment. And we want to make the most of this interest and turn these opportunities into concrete, real businesses so that these projects can move off the drawing board and start generating income, development, jobs, taxes, and so on.
Getülio, there's a question here that came up during the meeting, including at the International Council you created. Does Brazil have the technical experts capable of meeting the demands of these international companies in terms of establishing themselves here in Brazil?
Guilherme, you should know that Brazil is a large country that has always invested a significant amount of capital into its future. Of course, Brazil is a country of continental dimensions. But we have a very strong history of mineral production within Brazil, and we have companies that are global references in the mining sector. We can mention Vale, the world's largest iron ore producer. We can mention the Votorantim Group and many other Brazilian economic groups that have stood out and have been important players in the global mining scene. Now, it has become increasingly necessary to invest more and more into our future. And we have certainly noticed over the course of recent years a decrease, quite often, in the level of investments in our infrastructure. Today, for example, the National Mining Agency, commonly known as the ANM, currently suffers from a significantly insufficient number of qualified employees to effectively meet the rising demand. This shortage makes it nearly impossible to analyze complex processes, formal requests, and detailed applications, or to handle the necessary progress of these administrative files. These matters require ongoing, meticulous attention as research is conducted and as things move forward over time. Many times, vital projects also get stuck and come to a complete halt because of these lengthy analyses and the extensive technical work required from regulatory agencies, especially within the ANM itself. Consequently, the lack of personnel creates a bottleneck that hinders the entire sector's development and growth. But Brazil is indeed recognized for its technical expertise, thanks to the outstanding professionals we have in the country who have been trained over decades. However, we notice that with the increase in global demand for minerals, and Brazil is one of the main players in the world in this sector, there is no doubt that in the coming years we will see an expansion, including in technical training courses, higher education programs, geology courses, and mining engineering. This will create many great opportunities for professionals who want to enter such an important field as mining.
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you for 15 seconds for our commercial break, and we'll be right back.
For over 20 years, the Lee Ferreira de Araujo law firm has been providing high-quality, customized services to professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors coming to the United States. They also represent with excellence companies employing foreigners on a temporary or permanent basis. We understand that each client's case is unique and requires a specific approach. We maintain clear and objective communication with the client. Contact us to find out more. Liflaw.com.
We're back again with our dear friend Getulio, who is exploring business in the mining sector in a way that is extremely appropriate and necessary for Brazil. Above all, we understand that the mining project in Brazil is not a government project, it's a state project. Our dear Ambassador Rubem Barbosa has said that what Brazil lacks is a national strategic plan for the Brazilian state. In recent years, we've faced a huge limitation with elections being marked by minor political disputes. This project you have, which seems to me to be strategically very well timed, right? Because on November 17th and 18th, we will already have the electoral process decided, right? This proposal you are bringing the idea of the importance of this fact for Brazil as a state, not just as a government.
For Biel, I see that perhaps the main problem we have in the country is exactly what you mentioned at the beginning of your question. Currently, we don't have a comprehensive long-term strategic plan or a dedicated state project, specifically a long-term plan for the various administrations within the Brazilian government. This is especially true because we experience a frequent turnover of political leadership that is fundamentally healthy for democracy. But it also unfortunately brings its own set of inherent problems and challenges when we stop to think about the sustainable long-term development of the state as a whole. I had the opportunity to visit China in 2023, and there they think about the country, they plan the country's development for 20, 30, 50 years ahead. And these are very well-defined public policies. An example of this was the investments in infrastructure that China made over the last 30 years. This raised its status from the 10th largest economy in the world behind Brazil to the second largest economy, and it keeps growing even more. And when it comes to mining, it is seen as something strictly strategic for the country's development. And today, the nation of Brazil is indeed right at the very center of this ever-evolving dynamic and this complex, intense global geopolitical dispute that is currently unfolding across the world. Currently, we are going through an intensely divided and deeply polarized electoral process, and there is still a profound lack of any clear or definitive consensus regarding which specific direction the country will take in the many critical years that lie ahead of us. We firmly believe that as the overall situation gradually becomes much clearer and we finally get closer to the actual start of the event, during the upcoming session, we will carefully present the formal proposals and the detailed suggestions that will be made together with all the highly experienced specialists from all around the world who will be attending this important event. And certainly, as soon as the electoral situation is settled with the elections, the event will take place approximately 20 days after the election results are finalized. We will invite those who have been elected, whether at the state level. We are identifying the influential and potential key agents who will be leading their respective areas, especially those closely related to the vital and strategic mining industry sector, so that they can actively participate in this prestigious event. This gathering will bring together dozens of prominent international and global investors who are deeply interested in investing in various mining projects. This initiative will certainly yield a very significant and transformative result for our country in the coming years, in terms of the successful attraction of substantial foreign direct investments. So yes, we will invite them. Now, I believe that each candidate, given the current international scenario and the importance that mining and critical minerals have on the global stage, will certainly address this topic in their respective government plans. We sincerely and truly hope that there will be a genuine sense of concern for the mining sector and that we will see the implementation of public policies that can effectively motivate and attract the significant interest of international investors in the long-term development of important new projects. Now, Barbieri, what we are seeing today is a great deal of concern from international investors, especially regarding the issue of critical minerals, mainly rare earths. They are looking to create control mechanisms and, in a way, have the government become a partner in these ventures, which are to be carried out with private resources. This inevitably creates significant legal uncertainty for investors because projects like these require investments of billions and billions of dollars. And we believe this will bring this type of strategic initiative, as well as these ongoing projects, can generate a significant amount of instability and uncertainty for international investor groups that are interested in investing their capital in Brazil.
It would be quite interesting, Getulio, if we could have for this program a word of strategic alignment from the candidates, regardless of their ideological stance, and from party leaders, so that foreign investors feel more confident and secure about the future. Comfortable or more confident in having set an investment agenda for the event. But going back to the initial topic I had addressed, during the board meeting, it was highlighted that Brazil has great professionals trained at universities in these fields. Terara, my own sister, earned her doctorate in this area, and at the time at the University of São Paulo, the subject was not very relevant. Today, is it possible for the event itself to conduct a survey of the main technical professionals available so that on the international agenda, this additional security factor is also brought in, ensuring that investments are made to develop this work platform in the country?
If we take a closer look at our current progress, today we are already actively engaged in performing exceptionally robust and impactful collaborative work together with various professional entities and local advisory councils, for example. And we are consistently inviting these important entities to join us as primary strategic partners for the upcoming event. As an example, I can mention IBRAM, which is the Brazilian Mining Institute, DIMB, which is an association with very strong representation, and FEBRAGEL, the Brazilian Federation of Geologists. So we have brought in all these entities, CREA itself, which is there, the mining engineers. We have the Order of Attorneys of Brazil, known as the OAB, which includes highly qualified legal professionals specialized specifically in the mining sector. So in this way, we have invited all the relevant organizations, entities, and professional associations who are part of the entire service chain in the mineral sector to participate with us. Consequently, I personally do not foresee any significant difficulties or major obstacles ahead, and I think that the main demand needed to truly boost these projects is not a lack of labor, but rather the consistent flow of financial investment and capital. So we have exceptionally skilled and highly qualified professionals. Brazil is a country with a very strong and deep-rooted tradition in the mining sector. And this has been the case for many consecutive decades and generations, actually for well over a century, more than a full century of extensive industrial scale mineral extraction and production. So I see that the main bottleneck is not the workforce. We currently have the entire skilled workforce ready, and you will continue to develop that workforce further as each of the new projects begins to take shape over time. You keep training hard, you keep qualifying for every match, and Brazil has a great deal of professional experience and a long history of success. They maintain an exceptionally powerful and influential presence within the mineral extraction and mining industry sector. Moreover, it is important to note that many of the companies currently operating in Brazil are also prominent global and large-scale multinational corporations. Companies originating from the United States, Canada, China, and Australia, which are primarily the nations represented here, maintain an exceptionally robust and influential presence within Brazil today. Furthermore, a significant portion of these organizations, particularly those possessing the most advanced technical skills and specialized expertise, also send professionals from these countries to actively coordinate the strategic development, comprehensive implementation, and the long-term day-to-day operation of these large-scale mining plants.
Wonderful, Getulio. We have so much to talk about on this. We hope to have another program before the event and, of course, after the event. What is your final word of advice for our listeners?
Barbieri, I would truly like to thank you immensely for this extraordinary opportunity to talk about a subject that is of such great interest to all of us, which is the world of mining. And I would also like to warmly invite all your dedicated listeners and viewers of the program to join us in this discussion as we explore these important topics together, which you conduct with such mastery, right? And help us spread the word about BRAMINVEST. Follow us either on LinkedIn, just search for BRAMINVEST 2026, or on our Instagram, BRAMINVEST, or my personal account, GETÜLIO FARIA. Follow us there. We're posting updates almost daily. We are also incorporating some additional details, the comprehensive schedule for the upcoming event, and the various exciting opportunities that the event is bringing, right? And we firmly believe, since you are currently based right here in the United States, we truly believe that we will have a very strong and enthusiastic participation from American investors in this project. We are officially inviting them today. In particular, I had a meeting with the directors of the DFC, the US government agency that has been financing projects related to strategic minerals around the world, inviting this American government agency and also the USDA, which through your contact and your relationship, you are helping to structure the participation of this important American agency. So we see that the United States will be a country with very strong representation at BRAMINVEST, with many groups, including the American government agencies, and we view this very positively. This brings a lot of credibility to the event, and we truly believe that BRAMINVEST will be a major bridge for attracting investments to Brazil, where these investors and project owners can sit face to face, establish healthy and secure connections for the development and investment in new mining projects, whether in Brazil or in other Latin American countries.
Thank you very much, Getulio. Thank you for your explanation, which is extremely useful for our listeners and for the global network interested in migration. As we have seen, dear listeners, today we had a very special program that addresses a topic which, without a doubt, will be the most exciting and the one that will inspire the most discussions and debates, not only this year, but in the years to come. Thank you for tuning in. Please keep following us. We have new and interesting programs for you to listen to. Good night to everyone.